Hello, and welcome back to the world. Today we will be working towards getting good stuff so that I can actually start doing more things in the world with a little less difficulty. Also, apologies for the slightly low quality on this first part of the video. I'm pretty sure it resolves itself later on, but I will be making sure to record a bit better in the future because this seems a little fuzzy today. But anyway, the first step to getting good is getting some food, because having a good food source that isn't just eating rotten flesh will be nice to help me do more things without having to go hunting for more food. I make a few larger plots of land to plant my crops in for now, and with that I have a decent source of food, though as this farm gets filled out it'll be a lot better. But since that were all the plants I have, that's about all I can do for now. That being said, this night I do use some bone meal to get some extra wheat seeds so that I can actually fill out the whole wheat part of the farm. But for the carrots and potatoes, most likely it's gonna be a while before those get fully filled out. And here, as you can see, is why I need this food farm, because rotten flesh, while it isn't the worst food source, the hunger effect is a little bit annoying. I threw a quick animal pen together because I'd like to have some cows, because enchantment tables later on will be very nice, and also meat is a pretty good food source generally. And despite it being moving Minecraft animals around, it actually went pretty smoothly, which means that the cow farm is now effectively done. And speaking of animals, I set it up so that I can actually harvest stuff from that beehive outside of my house if I want to, which I most likely will at some point, though this is a very temporary setup. After working on the farms and the bee stuff, I go down into the mine so that I can actually start collecting stuff. I decide to make this part of the tunnel just one wide because I just want to get down as quickly as possible. I'm mostly looking for diamonds and redstone, but other stuff will be nice, so I guess we'll see how much stuff I can get by the end of this. After quite a bit of mining, I managed to get a decent amount of stuff, including 28 diamonds. I did leave a lot of stuff down in the mines because I did not have enough room to bring it all up, but this is a pretty good amount of stuff to start off. After heading out and exploring on what I think was supposed to be a food run, and I'm just horribly distracted all the time, I do realize that the quality is now back up a bit better, and I also end up finding a village, which is pretty nice, and I of course end up robbing them. While exploring this village, however, I was getting a lot of weird vibes, considering they have an abandoned nether portal really close by, and also a massive lava pool in the middle of their village, which was burning down a house with a villager stuck inside of it. So this place seems a little weird, and I hope to return at some point, but at the same time, I'm not sure if I should, because they seem really untrustworthy, frankly. And after robbing from that village, I run over to that abandoned portal I was talking about and end up finding a Silk Touch golden pickaxe inside of it, which will definitely come in handy for stealing beehives and stuff. But of course, the first thing I do with this is collect a grass block, because they could come in handy later, I guess. On the way home from this sporadic field trip, I managed to find a pillager tower and end up going near it because I want to see if they have any allays, which they actually do seem to have, but of course I don't want to get murdered, so the first thing I do is lock myself inside of their tower so that they don't murder me. Why no pillagers spawn inside of pillager towers is frankly beyond me, but I'm not about to complain about it. And after stealing all of the pillagers' stuff as well, I block out all the windows so that I can commit the ancient art of ankle whacking. And after a little pain and a lot of broken ankles, I finally steal the allays because they are useful or something. I don't know. I haven't ever actually seen them in the game, so I just thought I'd steal them for fun. And of course, as the absolute professional gamer I am, I managed to do all of this without ever being anywhere near dying. But even after getting home, I realized I had the slight issue of having no idea how to contain the allays I had just kidnapped. Because, like I said, I have never dealt with them ever. And while they seem interesting and maybe useful on a good day, I have no idea what I'm gonna do with them. So at the moment I'm just trying to lock them away, because I don't know what else to do, honestly. But after making a note block, I managed to complete the allay prison transfer, because, let's be honest, they're probably staying in that box for a very long time. I decided to use that Silk Touch pickaxe I found in the weird village to actually start working on a good bee farm that will be inside of my house instead of just out in the woods, because that would be kinda convenient, I think. And yeah, apparently at some point during that travel I did pick up more beehives, but apparently I didn't get that, which is unfortunate, but not nearly as unfortunate as something else I forget to record later on in the video. And yeah, you just gotta stay tuned for that one. But anyway, I quickly finished my indoor apiary, including all the flowers and stuff, so that they can actually produce honey and all that. And yeah, that's about it. And before going mining again, I decided to put the valuables I have so far in this chest for that thumbnail thing, which I'll show you later on, which is just basically a pile of money. And speaking of mining, I do end up mostly doing cave exploration for this section of mining, and end up actually finding a baby deep dark biome, which I was a little bit afraid of, but I jumped down to look at anyway. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, I do not find an ancient city in this one, because it seems kinda small, but then again, I have no idea how this stuff works, so maybe I just didn't find it yet. If I remember, I'll try and figure out a little bit more about how this stuff works, but don't hold your breath, because I'm not the greatest at this sort of stuff. Specifically, remembering to research. But of course, after looking at all this skulk stuff, I end up getting horribly lost, and end up just trying to dig up to the surface. And while I do find my way up to the surface, I am still equally lost, and it still takes me a pretty embarrassingly long time to figure out how to get home. But after I do find my way home, I do manage to make myself a new diamond pickaxe and start mining up some obsidian for a future nether portal and enchantment table. And of course, as the absolute professional Minecrafter I am, I get lost again in the caves, and then dig up to the surface so that I can be lost on the surface again, this time even worse than before. I seriously am pretty sure that I walk in the exact opposite direction of my house while using coordinates. It's pretty sad, but I do find my way back eventually again, so it's not too big a deal. But after I do get home, I decide to make the cows happy before building a portal to the sun, as you do. After getting to the nether, I find myself in a bit of a weird spawn point, and am, like, literally right next to a bastion, but I'll figure out how to do this, so it's not a terrible spawn. Not the best, but not terrible. Also, no, I do not know what type of bastion it is, nor the difference of the bastion types, and frankly, I don't care to figure it out at the moment, but I'll probably end up learning it later on anyway. Oh yeah, and while I'm messing with the bastion, the nether decides to combo me by first incinerating my warped fungus, and then that allows a hoglin to come up from behind and just instantly murder me. Though, to be fair, I probably should have seen that coming. I always have weird stuff, and me just being generally not good when it comes to the nether, so I'm probably gonna die in there a lot. After that, I decide to go mining so that I can actually recoup a lot of iron and also have iron armor and hopefully a shield. If I remember to make it, I'm not actually entirely sure that I do, but I guess we'll have to see. And all things considered, I think the mining trip went pretty well, though no iron armor for now because I still want to make that thumbnail thing, because reasons, I guess. And then after that I make a lot of bread so that I can go mining again and not have to worry about hunger for certain this time. I find myself an abandoned mineshaft during this trip, which gets me a few glowberries, a name tag which will be very nice, and a couple other random things. And then, after getting lost and trying to do the good ol' dig out trick, I get murdered by a skeleton. Which, you know, a little worrying. Luckily, or maybe unluckily for me, my brain works in really stupid ways, and while I didn't remember my way out, and still don't, I do remember how to get back down into the cave, which, you know, makes sense. Luckily, after fumbling around for a little bit, I am able to find my way out of the hole without too much difficulty, which is always nice. I start working on that thumbnail thing I was talking about a bit earlier on, which I still don't really know why I made. I just thought it would be fun to have in the thumbnail, I guess, and I do end up breaking it later in the episode because turns out I need some of this stuff. I know, big shocker, ores and minerals are not used generally just for piling up to flex on people. Absolutely wild. And as you can see, this is a completely useless pile of ores. And I still don't know why I made it. Yeah, I ended up needing those ores a little faster than even I anticipated. This is mostly because I finally realized that I should probably make some armor so that I don't die when I'm doing the thing that I'm about to do. And that thing I'm about to do is, of course, running through the nether until I can finally locate a nether fortress so that I can get some blaze rods because, you know, that's always nice to have. And this little run right here ends up being very important later on because this random check of the coordinates ends up being the only way I find this nether fortress again because, yeah, I do something really stupid. And of course by this nether fortress I mean this one right here because, yeah, that time I checked the coordinates was actually a little bit of away from the fortress. But for some reason I failed to check my coordinates at any point while inside of the fortress, so it was kind of the best thing I had. I find the lowest part of the fortress I can find before starting to head in because I want to get in, get some blaze rods, and then basically immediately get right back out. I really do not know why I blocked that off. It kind of bites me later on a little bit, but it wasn't too terrible, I guess. I pretty quickly find a blaze spawner, and of course this is where the stupid juice kicks in, because for some reason I managed to forget twice in a row that blaze now have a melee attack. It's been in the game for a really long time now, and I do not know how I keep forgetting, but that and being lit on fire multiple times ends up getting me killed. So, you know, good stuff. I'd also like to point out, because I'm just realizing at this exact moment, Why did I run into that spawner room? It was so full of blazes. There was no way I was surviving that. So yeah, that was 100% my fault. But anyway, after looking back on the recording and figuring out kind of how to get back, and also dying a couple times being stupid trying to get back, I make some armor again so that I can make it back, get the blaze rods, and then come back home so that I can actually use them this time, hopefully. But after getting back, I am able to retrieve my stuff and kill enough blazes that I should be good on blaze rods for quite a while. But of course, after getting a small taste of victory, I decide to run around the fortress some more to get more stuff that I really don't need at the moment. So I don't really know why I did it, but hey. I got a little bit of good stuff, so I guess it's not all bad. But after managing to get home, I destroy the kind of weird looking thing on my roof because I decide I actually might want some of these ores for, useful stuff. Shocking, I know. But after that, I do use some of the obsidian and diamonds I got from it to make an enchantment table, and I plop it on the roof where the future library will be. And then I also use some observers and pistons I make to make my first little baby farm, I guess. Which isn't the greatest because it's kinda small, but it'll work for now. Though, that being said, I did make it to do my enchantment room stuff, and it doesn't end up being used for that if I'm gonna be honest. So, it honestly hasn't been that useful yet, but we'll figure out some way to use it in the future. And then I also go to clear out the cow pen, even though I don't end up using any of this leather for the library upstairs. So it was kinda pointless, but hey, it was getting kinda full anyway. And then, pretty soon after that, I go to the nether again so that I can collect some ender pearls for ender eyes, which I will be using decently soon. And just with some dirt and a little bit of time, and by a little bit I mean way too much time, you can actually get a pretty decent amount of ender pearls from here. I wouldn't recommend it if you have any other option available though, because it's not the quickest. That being said, if I did clear out the area a little bit, it would probably be quite a lot faster. And now that I have some ender pearls, I can finally make a few eyes of ender and actually start heading towards the stronghold. But do you remember when I was talking back during the B part about missing parts of the video? When I said, which is unfortunate, but not nearly as unfortunate as something else I forget to record later on in the video. And yeah, you just gotta stay tuned for that one. Yeah, to say I messed up a little bit during this part of the recording session would definitely be underselling how much I screwed up. But I can't really explain in words how badly I screwed up, so I'm just gonna show you what happens at the end of this recording clip. Yeah, that was the end of that clip. I apparently, at some point, paused the recording and skipped the entire Ender Dragon fight up to the point where I was in front of an end city, getting ready to go into it. So yeah, that was a bit of an oopsie. Yeah, so sorry again. I do not know how I made that mistake, but I will try my best to make sure that nothing like that ever happens again. Yeah, that was kinda sad, honestly. So, I'll probably end up doing another Ender Dragon fight as soon as possible, but yeah, I'm gonna wait a little bit before doing that because I feel bad, and I'll try and be back again next Sunday as per usual, but until then, see you later.